Hi guys, Nessie here. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going for a general overview of the Fire Titan. So, first of all, why should you even go for the Fire Titan and not, for example, Water, Wood, or Light or Dark? Fire Titan is by far the easiest of them because the range of monsters that you can use is by far the biggest. Farmable monsters are super effective. Monsters which you can pull very easily, like 3-star monsters, are really strong compared to other elements. The late game offers a lot of variation of monsters, and yeah, it will be 4 steps. Farmable, early game, something like, let's call it the mid game. It's like you will see a lot of these monsters from the first 2 stages, but other attacker a bit more optimized already, and a heavily end game lineup, so that you can compare that. Yes, monsters are changing, but you can still do a lot of damage. So basically, farmable, early game, mid game, end game. Let's first take a look at the monsters which are farmable. Farmable means obviously we are only including 3-star monsters and below. So the first and interesting farmable monster in my opinion is the Beth. These are the stats. Has the Predator skills against fire, perfect against Fire Titan. It's really strong for a monster that has no unflinching strike or courageous strike. It's dealing really heavy damage. But if we are going from the point of how long is Beth an investment, it's not worth it. I will show you a fight with the Beth, but you can get really strong 3-star monsters which are a bit stronger than the Beth, so it will be switched out. But nonetheless, for a 3-star monster, it's dealing really high damage against Titans. Then we have the Shelly. Shelly, despite the high attack, is used as a debuffer for Titans, and you can use it extremely long. And afterwards you can even switch it to other elements, so it's an investment which will pay off forever. Really a good monster, especially with books. It has a 3-turn defense down. It's really a very important part of Titans, the defense down. So it's an investment which you can really make use of for a very long time. Plus, Shelly also is usable in a lot of other content, so it's not only Titans. Then there are some other debuffers and that I personally wouldn't go for them. Like a good example is the Yeti, has the attack down, the defense down. The Seedler is a lot better. In my opinion, the Shelly still is better than the Seedler. But there are ways or strategies where the Seedler is usable. Okay, that's the 3-star monsters. Now we're going for the 2-star monsters, and there are really a lot, and you can basically farm them while just running your stages. First one is the Mildew. It's simple healer. The first skill is totally useless against Titans, but it's a healer which has the defense up, and defense up is one of the most important skills when you're fighting against a Titan. So you're getting a monster basically for free, which you can use forever. There's only one monster which basically is stronger than the Mildew, and that's the Water Bust. It's a Hero Festival exclusive, net 5, and yeah, it's really hard to get it. So in case you're not getting endless of these Water Busts, the Mildew will be a part of you for a really long time. So it's really a decent investment. There is a counterpart, which most of you know, the Cotine. Exactly the same monster. Both have books, both have, and not exactly the same stats, but comparable stats. So what is the difference between these two? In the early stages, for you there will be no difference. They are basically for you exactly the same monster. Later on, the differences become more important, and that's the speed of the attack animation. For now, just keep in mind, Cotine is the slow version and Mildew is the fast version. Basically, it hits really fast, while the Cotine hits really slow. This is becoming an important part later in the game when you are able to make use of expose weakness. But if you're at that stage of the game, you are not. So just keep it in mind that these two are basically the same monster for you now. Then we have also a really interesting monster, but nowadays it's getting switched out a bit faster. Also depends on your luck. The Water Ribboness. It's basically a healer which has not the strongest healing spell or skill, but the attack down. It's basically a monster which heals and also is able to debuff with attack down, and obviously attack down is also really important. With the books it's even going up, I think, to 65%, but keep in mind this is a really good monster. It has a lot of uses. It's debuffing and it's healing, so it's making the runs more stable, while on the other hand you are using this spot as a debuffer as well. That's overall, in my opinion, the very important ones, which you can use for a very long time. So let's take a look at the monster. How could a lineup look like? Okay, this could be a potential lineup that you can use. It's an old picture of a team of mine. I would do one single change, and that's not use 4 Cotines anymore. 2 Cotines and 2 Mildew is the better version for future investment. Everything else can stay like it is, and you have to wait for different monsters if you want to improve it. What is this lineup offering? You are getting the defense downs, you are getting attack downs, you get damage, and you have on both sides 2 healer, which makes it a team which is really not RNG dependent that much. So what could be on the 4th spot? I personally would add a monster which is giving attack down. We have attack down here, attack down here, attack down here, and attack down here. So it has 2 spells or 2 skills at the moment which can hit an attack down, but it's on the healer. The healer also has to heal, so it's better to make it safer. And in this case it could be, I don't know, a Yeti or whatever is using an attack down. What gems are you using for these teams? The left side can use fully defensive gems, or you can give your Shellies an attack, defense, HP. The right side obviously should be offensive, so it means attack gems, crit rate gems, those kind of stuff. At this stage you will probably not be able to use crit damage gems, so stay at attack gems and crit rate gems. If you can give 3 attack gems, that's fine. If you give 2 attack gems and a crit rate gem, that's also totally fine. And the healers are normally HP, defense, recovery. Sets are not important, substats are. So you can even use a broken set if the substats are really good. That's the first team. So I have an old video of my team that I was using at that time. It's really old already, so the damage would nowadays be a lot higher than this. But I just want to show you this as an example. So let's take a look. Okay, let's go into a fight.
Devil in the red. this around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical. All these different chemicals are fucking up my visuals. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't caught gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Fucking bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Put on my strap, put on the beat, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between. Know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rap, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang, I'm by their chains for the fame. Never thought I would it, now I'm running this. You don't wanna follow me, I'm on the fucking front of this. I ran in the jungle with the troops, trying to get it what it does. Battling and I ain't never lose, we some motherfucking warriors. Cover the map and still ain't know where you can find me at. Journey through the mind of an insomniac. I ain't never sleep, staying ready, keep an eye out for the fakes. For the snakes, load a clip and I'ma pull it, something shakes. Never go to battle if you plan to lose. Life a game of chess, you gotta plan the moves. Middle fingers up, I'm not a fan of rules. Fighting for the right to live in peace and not like animals.
Bloods in my hands, got slugs in my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods in my hands, got slugs in my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't no gunners. Bloods in my hands, got slugs in my gunners. Fucking bloods in my hands, got slugs in my gunners.
Put on my strap, put on the beam, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between. Know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rap, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang, I'm by their chains for the fame. Never thought I would it, now I'm running this. You don't wanna follow me, I'm on the fucking front of this. I ran in the jungle with the troops, trying to get it what it does. Battling and I ain't never lose, we some motherfucking warriors.
Okay, as you could see, this was the very first team I was using as the last monster to add. I was using a Yeti and a Naza. They are just random monsters. I just wanted to have another attack down. You can use whatever you like. My preferred monster was something that has an attack down. You have enough attack down already, so you can choose whatever you want. Another attacker or whatever. So let's go to another team. This is the early game team, which can deal really decent damage already. What is different compared to the farmable team? Basically only the attacker. So let's take a look what attackers are available, which you have a chance to get really fast. There are two monsters and both are really decent. And here is the first one. Sandwraith. As you can see, the skill set already is a lot stronger. It has the unflinching strike, which is basically a nerfed version of Courageous Strike. And the Vengeance, which means if Sandwraith HP is getting lower, he's dealing more damage. This is not the important skill, but it's still dealing decent damage. The important skill is the unflinching strike, and it's on the passive skill. If something is on the passive skill, you are hitting it more frequently. Perfect. And also really nice, the leader skill. The element itself has not that many good leaders, so this is a perfect leader. You're going for gems like attack, attack, crit rate, then you have the crit rate, and then you're getting 40 to 45% crit damage extra from the lead. Really, really strong leader skill, and the monster itself is also really good. As you can see, his stats are not that great, but don't get fooled by it. He's decent enough to be played, and the leader skill is also really, really important. The second monster is the Water Bulby. As you can see, stat-wise, especially on the attack skill, it's dealing a lot more damage. First skill, the passive, useless against Titans. Can be used for something where you need to break a shield, I don't know, for example Fire Colossus. But, no, not Fire Colossus, Water was it or so. Keep in mind, it's not important for Titans. And has the unflinching strike on the active. As I said before, you would like to have it on the passive, but it is how it is. But at least the Bulby has a lot more attack. So, what should be the lineup that you are using? So, this could be, for example, your new team, the early game team. As you can see, I'm using 2 of the Sandwraith as the leader skill and 2 of the Water Bulbies, one on the top, one on the bottom. If you compare them, 2 Sandwraith compared to 1 Sandwraith, 1 Bulby, or 2 Bulbies, the mixed team is winning in damage. The Sandwraith plus the Bulby. So this is for the farmable, or not farmable, the early game team, the best solution. What else do you see there? I was simply adding these as attackers. I'm relying for the defense down on the Ribbonus, and the defense down is coming from the Shellies. Here you have to choose for yourself. You can, for example, put out 2 of the Shellies and put in a defense and attack down again. You can add another attacker. This is totally up to you. What are you preferring? I thought I'm adding more chances for the defense down, plus the Shelly itself also has the ability to deal damage. So it's a mix of damage plus higher chance for defense down. But you can also go for another Bulby, for example. You can go for another attack down, so that the attack down is hitting more frequently, also an option. The only thing that here I would change again, like I said before, you can see that there are 4 of the Cotines. That's what I would switch out again and put 2 Milders in. It's a bit of an older picture, so yeah, at that time Milde was not as strong as the Cotine now, so it was not an option. Now it is, so 2 Milde, 2 Cotines. Okay, let's take a look how the team is doing. So
I don't wanna be caught up inside your self-righteous symphony. I would rather let this go than to bring it up again. But everyone I know, they're afraid of their own skin, with nothing left to show. We're afraid of where we've been. You gotta let me in. make with regret. Rejoice 'cause they haven't found you yet. 'Cause everyone I know, they're afraid of their own skin. With nothing left to show, we're afraid of where we've been. You gotta let me in. I'm not a monster. Bury your friend. Drowning in water. Lend you my hand. Falling the level. Release what I regret. Is this all you wanted? It's all in your head.
Okay, as you could see, the second team was a lot better than the first team. Damage dealers are dealing a lot more damage. And keep in mind, both videos that you saw now are older videos, so the damage would increase nowadays. Let's come to the mid game. In the first two videos, what was the most important debuffs? Attack down and defense down. If you are coming to the mid game, or if you want to call it the late game, for me personally it's the mid game, because the monsters are still kinda easy to get compared to real endgame monsters. There are two more skills that are added, which is the weaken and the expose weakness. And another factor is coming in, which is the attack animation. Not only for the attacker, but also for the healer. So which monsters are coming into the fight now? First of all, weaken. Weaken don't has that many different monsters, so Draker is a really good choice, especially because there is not that much RNG behind it. If there is the rebirth of the Draker, the chances to get a water Draker is not that low. As you can see, I only have it to Evo 2, which is more than enough. The HP, or the effective HP, which is the combination of HP and defense, is more than enough to survive longer than your attacker, more than some of your other debuffers, so Draker is a really good choice. Animation wise, he's mediocre because the active animation is kinda slow, which is important for the exposed weakness, because our strategy now is to have a monster which has exposed weakness on the left side normally, and you want to bring it to the right side. Exposed weakness is basically doubling your damage, but only for one monster, and the monster that is hitting the Titan first. So the strategy now is having the exposed weakness on the left side, and all other monsters on the left side have to be faster than the exposed weakness. And on the right side, all your monsters need to be slower than your attackers, so that the attacker is getting the exposed weakness. It's not that easy, but this is what you have to aim for to increase your damage. Another weakened monster is the Busted. Busted is the perfect monster. It has the weaken, it has the defense up, heal, so it's a monster which you will use forever. It's best in slot as a healer, especially on the left side. So if you have a Bastard, perfect. If not, try to aim for the Draker. There are a handful of other weakened monsters, but none is as outstanding as these two. So keep in mind, if you have them, use them. Let's go for the exposed weakness. Exposed weakness is a bit harder to get, and you basically only have, for the Fire Titan, 3 decent monsters for it, which is first of all the Water Siegfried. I'm not that much of a fan of him. He's obviously good enough. He has the exposed weakness and he has the Courageous Strike, so the combination of both obviously is really good. But there are monsters that are dealing more damage than him. So, yeah. You are trying to aim for a monster which has double exposed weakness. Plus, obviously, it's not easy to get a water secret. You need 800 clan points to get a random secret. So it could be a wood, it could be a fire. You need secrets for the light secret. So he's really limited. So there are two others. The other one would be a dark monster, and it's the dark Bulby. You saw the water version already, it's a 3-star, the dark one is a 4-star, so obviously it's not that easy to get from normal X and all that, especially because it's an LD monster and it's a 4-star. As you can see, it has both skills on exposed weakness. Like I said before, the animation is really important. Bulby's animation is mediocre. It's kind of fast with the passive, so it's really hard to always make sure that the right side is getting it. But it's the one that is easiest available in my opinion. It's a rebirth monster. Yeah, the other choice would be Secret, where I already said it's really hard to get him, and normally you want to get the copies for the light secret. So in my opinion, this is the choice which you will get easiest, even though it's limited. And normally the best in slot is the light Sherlock. Where do we have her? Him, whatever Sherlock is, there. Sherlock has the advantage overall that she's tanking a bit more damage, not that much, but it's a bit more. And the exposed weakness with books is going to 100%, plus the animation is a bit slower, which makes it a lot easier to bring the exposed weakness to the right side. The last point, which is changing when you're optimizing your teams, is the attack up healer. The defense up can still be the Milder and the Cortine, both are more than fine. It's not that it desperately has to be the Water Bastard. Draker, totally fine. So for the exposed weakness, you only have Secret, Bulby and Sherlock. Bulby the easiest to get, Sherlock the best to get. And now we are at the healer, like I said. Bastard, good choice, or best in slot choice, but very hard to get. So what else is available? You basically have no real choice at water, but there are some other changes, or some other options. The easiest to get, and here and there was a festival where you could get endless of them, which is the water shark, the light shark. Where do I have it? 3-star. There. Why light shark? Obviously, since it's not a water monster, it takes more damage, so that's a disadvantage. But you can see it already has an attack down. With books, it's 2 turns and an attack up. So you're probably asking, why do I have to go for this attack up now? Of course, it's raising the damage of your attackers. But there's also another point which makes it a lot better. It's the healing mechanism. Normal healer heal when you are missing a certain amount of HP, obviously. But the shark is healing directly when it's getting an orb. The advantage of it is that it's casting a lot more the active skill, and you are getting a lot more of the attack up, which in the end will result in more damage. So the shark is really a good choice already, really strong. There is only one better choice, but it's extremely hard to get it nowadays. So you might have to stay at the Venus, or you have the Venus the shark, or now we are coming to the other monster, which is the Venus. and it's not that easily gettable anymore. So either you have to buy her, or it will be a really hard road to get it. Where is it? There. The skill set is basically exactly the same. Has the attack down and the attack up. But the animation is better. She's really slow, so you can basically put in everything and she will not steal the exposed weakness. So that is the monsters which are edited now. And yeah. The body or the effective HP of the Venus is also a bit more than from the shark, so she's surviving a bit longer, but it's not that important. The important part is that you are adding either of them, so that you're getting a higher chance for attack down, you're getting an attack up, and an instant attack up, which is adding a lot more damage. Okay, as you can see, this is my current team that I am using on this account. It has all the points which I was talking before. It has the weaken now with the Drakas. There is the Shelly obviously for the defense down. Then there are the Bulbies for the exposed weakness. There are the Mildews because they are faster than the Cotines. That's why I said before that you should go for 2 Cotines and 2 Mildews. My damage dealer or my attackers are the Harlequins. My attack up healer, one is a Venus and Evo 2, totally fine. And one is the Light Shark. And my defense up healer is the Cotine. Cotine is the slow version of Mildew and Cotine, so it's perfect on the right side. It still has weaknesses compared to an endgame team. The Draka with the active skill can steal the exposed weakness. The Shelly with the active skill can steal Bulby's exposed weakness. So there are things which are not perfect, but the damage increase with such a team is really skyrocketing compared to the other teams. This is what you basically have to aim for if you want to really start doing high damage. The damage dealer with the Harlequin is also really decent. Attack animation is okay, while she has the Courageous Strike on the passive skill, which is obviously increasing your damage, and she's adding, what was it, defense down I think. Maybe it was attack down, don't matters, at least it's a skill which is giving you another chance to debuff. So this is the current team. The 2 teams before were a bit older videos where the damage is increasing. This is now a realistic team for the damage nowadays. So let me show you. Let's go.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and seeking human victims.
Okay, as you could see, the damage itself was far higher than with the other teams. Of course, we were changing, if we are comparing the teams, from Beth with a normal damage increasing skill to unflinching strike with the Sand Wraith and the Bull Bee. Now with the video that you saw, or with the fight that you saw, we were adding Courageous Strike, so the monster itself is already dealing more damage, and we already have other sources of increasing the damage, like the Exposed Weakness. Let's come to the endgame team. So what is perfect for the team? The goals are the same as for the team before. We have to optimize the way how the Exposed Weakness is coming from the left side to the right side. So which monsters are basically best in slot? We have, like I said before, the Water Basset. She's the best in slot healer. We have the Byrona as the best in slot attacker or damage dealer. Then we have the Water Hades, basically the best in slot defense downer. Then we have, let me think. Wait. I was missing our attack down with the Indra. As you can see, all of them, this is why this element is so strong. All of them have a really strong debuff, while they also have the Courage Strike. So they are not only debuffing, but they are also dealing damage. These are basically the water monsters which are best in slot. So Indra for attack down, Hades for defense down, Bastard for weaken or as a healer, and the Barona as the one that is dealing the real damage. Then we have, like I said before, the Sherlock there as the monster which is bringing the exposed weakness to the Baronas, and as a healer that is bringing the attack up, the Venus. Is it there? This is the attack up best in slot. Okay, here you can see the team which I'm talking about. This is basically the endgame team, the best in slot monsters that you can get. As I said, the Indras for the attack down plus damage has a really strong leader skill as well, so if you have it as a variant it's an extra point. The Hades as the defense down. The Hades is more like a very luxurious version. You can, for example, also use Water Shelly, but not as an Evo 3. It has to be Evo 2.3, so basically evolution stage 2 with 3 more monsters in when you are seeing 3 blue dots. That one is also not stealing from the Sherlock, but obviously Hades is a bit better, brings a bit more damage and all that, so this is the best in slot, while Shelly is only a small bit behind. Then the Sherlocks for the exposed weakness, the Bastard simply for the healing and the weaken, the Baronas for the damage. As you can see, the Baronas as well have the attack lead, also another plus point. And yeah, on the right side the 2 healers are again the Bastard for the defense up and the Venus for the attack up. Okay, since we have talked about it now, let me show you the real footage of these fights. At that point, thanks to Chaos that I'm allowed to use your team or your video. He has basically the perfect team, so it's the perfect showcase. Let's go into the fight.
Does the beat take you over? You just can't breathe. Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones? Does the bones take you? Do you feel your bones take you? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones take you? Take you? Do you feel your bones? Does the bones take you? Do you feel your bones take you? Take you? Do you feel your bones? Does the bones take you? Do you feel your bones take you? Take you? Do you feel your bones? Does the bones take you? Do you feel your bones take you? Take you? Do you feel your bones? Does the bones take you? Over, you just can't breathe. Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones take you? Take you? Do you feel your bones? Does the bones take you? Do you feel your bones take you? Take you?
I want you to listen.
So yeah, as you could see, this is basically the perfect team currently. It's showing obviously incredible high damage, and what you saw in the video is not the end. I have seen fights from him already over 200 million, and I'm pretty sure soon he will reach it again, and even on a higher point, 220, 230, something like that for sure. And this is basically what you are aiming for as best in slot monsters. Of course, he has other points which are really shining. It's the gem quality. A lot of his monsters have books already, so these are all points which are increasing the damage more and more. But this is what you are aiming for. You want to improve at the Titan, so gems are a part of it, enhancements are a part of it, books are a part of it. All of that is really hard to get, obviously, but this is what you're aiming for. So yeah, I think my own team, if I would still play on the Nasty account, would I have the same monsters like what you saw in the video, except one Sherlock. I have the same team where I would have to use a Bulby. So my team would, I would say, with enhancements and all that stuff, go for like 170 million or something like that. So it's still a decent part away from Chaos team because he has the leads. I would say the gem quality is around the same, but I don't have had the books, and yeah, the leader skills were missing. So there are small parts where my team would be inferior to his, so I would say it's around let's say 50 million more on his side, maybe even a bit more, but I think that's the part around that. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. You saw all four steps. The farmable one, where I would not recommend the attackers. The early game teams, which you can really make use of already. The mid game, or some would basically call it the late game team. I think it's still a mid game team, because a lot of them are farmable very fast. So yeah, I would call it the mid game team. There you can use all of the monsters already, and the end game team, where you're basically aiming for. This is what you want to have. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you have any further questions, just write them in the comments. And yeah, hope you like it. See you soon, guys. Ciao.